And so people will be like, well, you can't always depend on somebody to do anything for you. First of all, people that are disabled, we have to depend on on something on somebody, especially those that can't work. Now, those who can work, congratulations. But for us that can't work, can't drive, we have to depend on somebody. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't understand is that regardless of what the situation is, we're gonna have to depend on somebody. And I get it, we're not gonna be here forever. Like we're all gonna go. I get that. But at the end of the day, you don't realize, you got to think about their safety. You got to think about, about what they're getting into and everything. Because from what I heard, these Uber drivers aren't always the same things. The Lyft drivers aren't always the same things. Nothing is really safe. So a lot of people got to think about that, and a lot of people got to think just because we're disabled, um, means some of us can't drive. Now, me, I wanted to drive, but then I realized, it's not safe. It's not 100% safe on the road because it's not always about how you drive. It's about how other people drive. That's why my parents don't want me driving, and I completely understand and respect that. But when it comes to me getting in an Uber and all that stuff, no. Now, if I was with somebody in Uber, that's a little different. But by myself, hell no. Now, as far as me like going to the store and shopping for myself, okay, I can go and shop for myself, go and get what I want, and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna walk to the car by myself. Like you don't have to follow me around the store. I get that. I can go shopping by myself. But you know, and people always think like just because you have assistance means that you're being babied. It's not. It's not being babied at all. It's not. People just don't want to understand your situation because they don't want to understand. They just want to continue and bully you and continue to be messy and continue to think that you have to please people and you don't have to please anybody. And that's another thing people always assume that, like I say, people always assume just because we're adults we can't ask for help. And people rather help a non-disabled person over a disabled person. No. Like, and then people want to tell me like, oh, well, you can't grow up and you're a baby because of my situation. You don't want to understand my situation because you don't want to accept my situation because you're jealous of my situation. That's basically what it is. That's why you say all this stuff to a disabled person to get their feelings hurt, and then you wonder why you get cut off because you don't want to understand somebody's fully disabled who can't get rid of her disability, but is fighting every day for it and fighting for herself, and literally stays working, stays exercising have her days when she doesn't want to do anything, just like a regular fucking human being, which we all are, regular fucking human beings, and you can't fucking accept that? Hmm. You can't fucking accept that, and then it's like when I tell you it's my decision and it's my choice, you get upset. I thought I was an adult. I thought I could make decisions on my own. I thought certain things I can make decisions on my own. See, that's where it comes into place to where you go back to treating a disabled person like a child. because you don't like the decision that they make and you want everything to be your way. Everything is not going to be your way. It's just like I had to learn. Everything is not going to be my way either. But at the end of the day, you should be able to make decisions of your own if you can. Because for somebody to embarrass you over your decision and think it's funny to embarrass somebody, that's not cool. It's one thing when you're joking, but when your joke goes too far and then when you clap back, you get attitude. We're not cool. No, because my thing is, if you can't accept a disabled person for who they are, but you want to bully and be jealous of them because of how they are and how they live their life. Last time I checked, there's nothing wrong with living with your parents. Nothing. Especially how life is now. There's nothing wrong with living with your parents. And being with them as adults. Now, some people make their adult children pay rent. Okay, that's them. Some people don't. Okay, does that make them a bad person? No. But at the end of the day, if your child plans to move out, let them save their money. But at the end of the day, if you got a fully disabled adult that who can't be on her own, why would you judge? Why would you judge? Oh, because you don't have nothing better to do instead of making that disabled person feel like they're a piece of shit, and just because you do something with your life and they're doing things with their life to make them happy, but you don't want to think about that. You don't want to think about that. No, you don't. You just want to sit there and run your mouth and judge because you want that person to not be happy. You want that person to be miserable, and you want that person to feel stupid about herself and to make her question herself every single time you guys talk or anything, and nothing has changed. But yeah, and then people, like I said, people want to know why you so distant and why you don't call, because it's the same shit. It's the same exact shit every single time. Every single time, it's the same shit over and over, over and over. And keep in mind, yes, I will keep talking about this because this needs to stop. Why are we sitting here worried about being jealous of people and all this other stuff? I get it. People are different and people have their own opinions, but sometimes it's best to keep your nasty comments to yourself. Keep them to yourself. Yeah, keep them to yourself.